All right, buddy, welcome back to Beans No Ball. Week 16 is just wrapped up. Just 2 more weeks to go. Season has just really been coming real quick at us. I mean, what a week we just had. Some absolute cinema, some game of the year contenders. Let's just kick it off right away. Thursday night, I get to start it off. Heartbreaker for the Rams, unfortunately, but I mean, can't say the least. I mean, this is easily, at least to this point, game of the year. I mean, hats off to Seattle. I'll get into some other little things, but I mean, first and foremost, you get into a situation going in, it was late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. Sam Darnold throws the red zone interception. It looks like it's same old Sam Darnold, second pick of the day. Rams got the ball up 16. Looks like it's wraps, and the Rams are gonna ride off with the division. Not so fast. That Seahawks defense just completely shuts us down. I mean, three straight three and outs. Of course, you throw in the Rashid Shaheed kickoff return. What a trade deadline acquisition that was. Then, of course, Sam Darnold driving down when it mattered most. That 2 point conversion call, little dicey. Really, realistically, I mean, it was blown dead to begin with. Shouldn't have been a 2 pointer, but at the same time, I mean, you blow a 16-point fourth quarter lead, you don't deserve to win the game. And of course, I mean, hats off to even still some things on the Rams side of it. I mean, Matthew Stafford, easily despite the loss, I mean, was not on him. He's still playing at that MVP level. Puka Nakua, I mean, he's throwing himself back into the offensive player of the year conversation with career high once again, 225 yards on, I believe, 12 receptions. I mean, just a phenomenal game for him. Pro Bowl now. We'll probably get into a little bit more of that into Bean Talk, but I mean, just, I mean, it's a heartbreaker for the Rams. You drop to the 6th seed now with the Niners win a little later, but I mean, all I could say, I mean, I'm still not fully sold on Darnold, despite a great performance. There's still a little bit in there, but I mean, Seahawks are at the 1 seed. Huge win for them in a game of the year contender.
Yeah, definitely was one of the better games here. I mean, a 60-point lead like that into the fourth quarter, we really just can't blow. But it was a big, huge statement win for the Seahawks. Show their destiny for the 1 seed. As for the Rams, they're gonna need a little bit of help if they want to try and regain that. But moving on with the Saturday slate with the Eagles clinching the division, repeat winner in the East for the first time in a little over 20 years. With this win, the Cowboys have officially been eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, this game all around, it was looking pretty dicey for both these. I mean, Commanders had a lead at halftime. And we were thinking like, okay, maybe the Commanders can actually do something. But Mariota left early with an injury, and now pretty much sealed the deal for the Commanders. So Josh Johnson went in, and we know it's just Josh Johnson, the career backup. Not really gonna be the one guy to do anything there too. You're looking on the Philly side, they took advantage of that. Saquon Barkley finally getting it going, 132 yards on the ground with one touchdown. And I mean, 21 carries, probably arguably one of his best games this season. And just like we've been saying before, once Saquon gets going for this Eagles team, it's going to be pretty hard to stop him there too. And then on the other side, AJ Brown, 95 yards on the receiving end too. So this whole offense, they took advantage of what they really need the most, especially being down at halftime. Does this secure him to division? Honestly, still not sold on the Eagles, regardless of this, without a doubt. They got the East, they clinched this and that. They're good with by any means, but you're looking at this playoffs team. I'm not really sold on this Eagles team. I doubt they're going to get past the Rams again. I doubt they're going to get past the Seahawks. So it's really going to tell battle to see. But now we're just going into postseason.
Yeah, at the moment they hold that 3 seed, it would be a Rams Eagles
Mhm.
rematch at the link. So I mean, we look at this point in the season, I think it's no question to say where either of these teams lie. But I mean, yeah, like you're saying, I mean, defensively they're there. It's just offensively you're not
Mhm.
scaring anyone. And moving into the nightcap on Saturday, what a game. I mean, we were texting about this throughout that fourth quarter and overtime. I mean, sure, the big caveat to this, Jordan Love, of course, goes down with the concussion. Well, obviously keep monitoring that, see how that goes, but obviously be critical for them. Malik Willis comes into this game decent for what it's worth. I mean, keeps them in the game, but just isn't able to take it to the next level. I mean, 121 yards on going on 9 for 11, does get that touchdown, avoids the turnovers, but this was all Bears in that later stage of the game. Obviously, sure you get the touchdown. It's still dicey. You're gonna need a lot to go your way. You get the onside kick on a very eerily similar play to that 2014 NFC Championship. Then you go and on that fourth and goal play, what a throw by Caleb. A little overthrown like we were talking about, but what a catch regardless on the other side by was it Luther Burden if I'm not no, it was Walker. Yeah, Walker making that play to eventually tie the game, send it to overtime.
Mhm.
And again, what a bomb for Caleb, walking this one off in overtime with a touchdown pass to DJ Moore for just about 50 yards. I mean, what a game for the Bears. It was an ugly win, sure, but the Bears are kind of used to winning these ugly games. And sure, you're probably going to need to win a little nicer in the playoffs. A lot of these results aren't really going to be helpful in the playoffs, but I mean, to see, I mean, 11-4, considering after everything, is a huge step for the Bears. You maintain that two seed once again and clinch a playoff berth with that Lions loss that we'll get into in just a bit. And now, of course, with the Packers, I mean, you still control your destiny to lock up your spot, but this is a huge loss.
Yeah, I'm not even with that. Now you're looking at, just this morning, Jordan Love and Malik Willis, they were limited in practice today, so it's still going to be day to day whether or not one of them is going to be good to go for the next couple games in the regular season. But without a doubt, this was much needed for the Bears to control their destiny with the seeding. But now moving on with the Sunday slate with my game with the Cowboys, and again, it's the same story every week. The defense once again being a letdown. I mean, the whole first half. I mean, you're going neck to neck with the top 10 defense in the league with the Chargers, and Dak and his whole offense was rolling right off the bat. Pickens got an early touchdown to pretty much keep everyone here inside the game. Dak being clean in the pocket, him having consistency, not turning the ball over. But I mean, it's a top 10 defense for a reason. O-line was getting killed. Dak was getting pressured most of the time there too, but he was still doing what it's worth. Pickens best game so far today, one not today, but Sunday, 130 yards, one touchdown. So everything was clicking in the first half. They're keeping it neck to neck with the Chargers, where, sure, yeah, again, another morale win would have been nice, but you run into the second half and everything just plummets. Offense can't get it going anymore because of the defense not being able to get stops. I mean, Chargers just constantly chewing the clock because of the amount of time they're taking on the time of possession because the defense just keeps letting them go. No stops on third down, no pressure at all whatsoever. Justin Herbert being 6'6", 240 does not help their case at all whatsoever. So could not get to him once at all whatsoever. So that's a really big, huge, pretty big, huge shout out to that Chargers O line, especially with Joe Alt not being in the mix there too. But everything clicked for that Chargers team. Cooked up a very, very horrible defense. But at the end of the day, it's the Cowboys. The defense. It's going to be a lot of things coming into the next season. I've been seeing a lot saying where Dak should pull a Stafford, go to a different team. Who knows? That could be a topic for Bean Talk, but you got to look to the side of things. Dak's too loyal for the Cowboys. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But if it does come to the case, I've made it well done and clear in this channel. Where Dak goes, I go, and you will be seeing me support two teams.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course your blood lies with the Cowboys, but yeah, of course. I mean, we know your love for Dak, of course. And I mean, I wouldn't expect him going anywhere, but I mean, you never
Yeah,
know. No one expected
especially
Stafford
with
to leave
and he has
Detroit
the he
back
has
then.
he has the no trade clause, so they can't trade
That
him
can
unless
easily
he
be
waives
waived,
it.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless he waives it. Only he can waive
Which,
it.
I mean,
But
if he wants to be a winner,
yeah,
he might end up deciding
but
to
like I
waive that.
said, it's too loyal.
Of
But
course, we'll
hey,
we'll see. We'll see. There's been loyal players that decide to move on for greener pastures, but that, like you
yeah.
said, can be discussed at a later time. Moving into the Bills heading into the dog pound in Cleveland. This one was a lot closer than it had to be. Josh Allen, he gets back into that dicey look. I mean, extending plays when they shouldn't be. I mean, highlighted in that fourth quarter sack that he took should have, I mean, arguably could have been a safety. Did just keep it out into that 1 yard line. But that play pretty much epitomizes Josh Allen's play. You get those flashy plays, sure, but they're just little moments here and there. Just really trying to do too much, especially in a team against the Browns. I know you're playing a stout defense in there, of course, with Myles Garrett, which he gets half a sack. He is now one full sack away from, and he's up to 22 full, or no,
He's
yeah,
one
his next
sack,
full
one sack. He's
sack.
next full sack.
His next full sack will get him the single season record. He has 2 games to do it, so we'll see if he can finalize that. But I mean, yeah, that's I mean, arguably pretty much like the only solid point for the Browns. You see, I mean, a lot of negatives. Shador Sanders, arguably one of his worst games once again. Not, I mean, he kept them in the game, sure, but it was arguably a lot more his receivers extending the plays and of course that run game, which Quinshot Judkins, that leg injury, he's out for the remainder of the season. Sure, it's just those 2 games, but he did have that fracture in the leg that we'll see. Hopefully, the speedy recovery that he can come back by the start of next season. But just closing off, I mean, the reason the Bills were able to finish off this game was that run game. James Cook, once again, he was a big doubt throughout the middle of the season, was really struggling, but those 117 yards and the 2 touchdowns, He's really getting back into form, and right, like we say, in December, January football, he's getting it going right when it matters most, and they're gonna need him for the playoffs. Which you're not gonna have to see Mahomes. This is the time to really turn it up.
Yeah, that's really just been the story ever since, the Chiefs got eliminated the week prior to this past week, and then,
Who's gonna take the mantle in the
to the
AFC?
Bengals. Exactly, right? This is the time. This is literally the year for Josh Allen to win it all. No Mahomes, no Burrow. This is literally the year. There should really be no excuse. But the only thing that's holding back the Bills is that defense. And let's be real here, that defense is not going to hold them up in the playoffs. So you just got to hope for the best. Josh Allen is damn near perfect if the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the Bills want a chance. But speaking of the Chiefs, moving on to their matchup against the Titans, you get eliminated. You recently just get eliminated. Mahomes goes out with an ACL injury, and then you come into this week and you get stonewalled by the Titans, the now 3-12 Titans. But honestly, this is what the Titans did need, right? They needed a nice game from Cam Ward after the whole season of just all these letdowns, right? He only had 7 incompletions this whole game, Cam Ward, and then 228 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. So it was really a nice, good game for Cam Ward. He's making his throws, making some big time throws against this Chiefs team. Yes, they were eliminated, but their defense is still a pretty decent defense, and they've been keeping them in the games for the whole season. It was just a matter of that offense there too. And then you're looking at this Chiefs starting quarterback, Chris Olodukun. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but
A lot of,
2020,
I honestly,
a
I
lot
don't
of
remember. It
yeah,
was his
seven,
first NFL action. Congrats to
yeah,
him.
7th round pick, 2022. Finally got some action. So yeah, like I said, great for him. But obviously, only 111 yards on the ground on the pass. And then Gardner Minshew had it came in 15 pass yards. So obviously, it's a lot of turmoil for this Chiefs team. I mean, you're missing the playoffs for the first time in like a decade. You really didn't expect this did too, and then you lose to the Titans. But honestly, looking at the Titans side, it was a nice morale win for this Titans team. And then Tony Pollard on the ground, 112 yards on the ground. Let's see a former Cowboy finally getting some action there too. But at this point, same thing with the Titans. If you're looking into the offseason, the draft, you got to build around Cam Ward if you want to have some success in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I mean, bad from word for the Chiefs. I mean, at this point, tank it
Yeah.
out. I mean, when do you expect the
Yeah.
Mahomes-led team to have such a good draft position? I mean, this can only help them. I know make the best out of a bad situation for them. But moving into another team with a great quarterback, yeah, down in the gutter with their situation in this season, the Bengals and the Dolphins. Joe Burrow balled out. I mean, when doesn't he?
Mhm.
4 touchdowns in this game. You win this. I mean, game was over by the time it was 45-14. Dolphins get a garbage time touchdown, but I mean, just overall, there's not too much to go into this. It's two teams that, you know, not really playing for nothing at this point. It's just, I mean, some nice rest for Joe Burrow, and like I said, what a look for him with those 300 yards. I mean, Chase Brown, very nice touchdown, getting that dive in there, and of course, Jamar Chase getting over into the triple digits. Look on the other side, Miami. I mean, Quinn Ewers. I mean, it's he got over 250 yards, good for him, but it just really was not the best debut for him. 2 interceptions, doesn't throw a touchdown. Not debut, first career start for what that's worth. So, I mean, there's a lot to be desired as for Miami. I mean, there's still questions, did McDaniel do his job to maintain his position? Look at the Bengals though. Reports come out that Zach Taylor will be back next season. And I mean, I don't know what dirt Zach Taylor has on the Bengals organization. There's no reason he should still be on this team, but I digress. I don't think a lot's going to be changing. Specifically, I mean, if you still got Zach Taylor on this team, and if you don't overhaul that defense.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, it's a lot of turnover with that team, and they're gonna have to do a lot of things, coming into, the season for this because it's been too much and a lot of struggles going to forward. But moving on with the Saints and the Jets and Tyler Shook. I mean, this has been the story. I mean, he is now leading the Saints rookies with most wins as a starter. So very great for him. He had a great game. Sure, it is the Jets, especially with them starting Brady Cook again, with the Jets having Brady Cook as well. Only 188 yards and an interception, but I mean, you can't really expect much from this whole Jets team, especially with, again, really bad season they've really been through. But you're looking at the Saints team. I mean, Tyler Shook. I mean, who's not to say probably he's going to end up being the starter for the next season. I mean, he's
Oh
been
yeah,
balling so
absolutely.
far, riding it out. Sure, yeah, it's been against these teams, but I mean, he's getting the one that matters the most, and he's finally bringing life back to the Saints team, especially now that not just him, but Olave. I mean, he had himself a game, 10 catches, 140 yards, two touchdowns, one from Shook and one from Taysom Hill. So everyone's getting their mix in there too. And then if he surpassed 1,000 yards this season, especially after last season, he recently just came out saying he was contemplating retirement after all those concussions that he had received, and he's only 24. And to be considering retirement at 24 years in the NFL is just it's crazy because you would expect to have a long career ahead of you. But I mean, it's really great to see that he finally stuck up and he said that he's going to ride it out. He's finally going to play it out, which is nice to see for Olave, especially with all the what he's been through since his New Orleans. Hasn't seen any success at all whatsoever. But this season, him surpassing 1,000 yards, finally bringing some morale to the Saints team with finally a quarterback that's being consistent. You love to see it. At least for the Jets side, same situation. Aaron Glenn, honestly, you just got to give Aaron Glenn some time there too. I mean, he came to the Jets pretty much, set up for failure there too. It's the whole quarterback situation with the Jets. It's the same old Jets, same old Jets. Ride it out with Aaron Glenn, coming to next season, again, build around this team because honestly, letting him go after this one season, it won't be fair on him, to be honest. But at the end of the day, it's business and it's the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, just hope you get that number 1 pick and hope you get Fernando Mendoza. And for the love of God, don't ruin the guy. I mean, there's some potential there.
Yeah.
That's over that. But I mean, just want to throw one more thing in there. I mean, it's a defensive coach, and we talked about this. It took them like 8 weeks to
Hmm.
get a turnover. We are 15 weeks through the season, 15 games through the season. They still haven't gotten an interception. I mean, think about that. I
And
mean, this
that's gonna be an unbreakable record. It's gonna be an unbreakable
it's
record
two
because there's
more
no
games.
shot.
And of
Yeah,
course, it'll be Josh Allen to do it in week 18 to throw a pick to them. But we'll
maybe.
we'll see. We'll see by the week 18 recap if we got some history on our hands with the Jets. But keep it with New York and keep it with another crazy stat this in the Vikings Giants game. It took them until 2 minutes left in the first half to even attempt a pass. I mean, they were really running through Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary, which I mean, wasn't really working. I mean, sure, you ended up getting 10 points before halftime, but I mean, this game, it was pretty much a snoozer. I mean, not too much that you can really hang your head on. I mean, it wasn't Jackson Dart's best game by any means. I mean, pretty bad for what that's what, like I said, he really wasn't throwing the ball, only got 7 completions on 13 attempts, an interception, and only 33 yards. I mean, it's obviously not a recipe for success, especially when your run game only gets you about 71 yards with Tyrone Tracy. Nine, another win. I mean, like we said, this was his tryout for McCarthy to really see if he can, if he is going to be the guy for the future in Minnesota. He gets 108 yards. I mean, not the greatest game. I mean, the run game was able to carry most of the load. You get Aaron Jones on a nice 85 yards, almost getting into that century mark, and Jefferson finally getting involved. It gets, that's decent for what that's worth. Not really much to show for it for him. And of course, outside of Jefferson, you only had about 20 passing yards. So there's more to be desired, but there's 2 games left to see if McCarthy can give you enough to show if he's the guy, or if not. I mean, there's a lot of backups out there that are gunning for starting positions, and we'll see if it's a tail like Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Well, you're mentioning McCarthy. He's injured, so I don't. He's not gonna be playing
That's right. That's
the next
right.
three games.
He
He's injured.
he was
Hairline
yeah, Hosmer
fracture.
came in for him
Yeah, hairline fracture on his
middle of the game.
hands. So
Yeah,
he,
no,
so
you're right.
he's gonna
Completely
he's
forgot about that.
yeah. So he's gonna miss this game there too. I mean, at the end of the day, it sucks because he's already dealing with a lot of injuries. Just second year in the NFL. Sucks to see that, but write it out. Maybe go for a veteran at this point. For maybe McCarthy
And
can
that's
learn
why I
under.
say, I mean, is this going to be like an Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones situation
Exactly.
like last year that he ends up being taken over? I mean, Mac Jones is gunning for a spot in that Shanahan system. Same thing Darnold did from the Niners back up to an eventual
Hmm.
Viking starter. You never know if he comes back and does it.
Yeah, but let's move on to the South with the Panthers getting a gutsy win over this Buccaneers team, man. Like I'm saying, one of these two teams are going to win the South. I mean, whoever it is, it's going to be a first round exit. But I mean, this was just an ugly game for both teams, especially on Baker Mayfield with the Bucks. I mean, you're driving, right? Mike Evans is having himself a actually no, not even Mike Evans. None of these receivers were really having himself a game at all. I mean, Egbuka was leading with 40 receiving yards. He's been on a slump since his injury, which really sucks to see. Evans got himself a touchdown, which I mean, yeah, that's
Was that his only
good for the most.
catch? Because Ibuka had like a
Yeah,
40
yeah.
yard. Damn.
Yeah, that was his only catch. It was literally just a 40-yard catch. That's it. Literally did nothing after that. But you're looking at those old Bucks. I mean, you start off. what? You start off, 3-0, you start 3-1, you're winning, and then next thing you know, you're going on a slump, right? Now you're 7-8 with the division literally on the line here, with the tiebreaker going to be with the still have a tiebreaker with the Panthers, but you're on that last drive, and I don't know whose fault it was, whether it was Baker's fault or Mike Evans' fault. I want to say maybe it was Mike's for running the wrong route, but you never know. That pick that pretty much sealed the deal was just ugly, right? But even after that, just the whole game in general, it was just an ugly game with this Bucks team not being able to put out points where they really need to be. These late game mistakes. Same with the Panthers. The only difference with the Panthers is they were actually capitalizing off the Buccaneers' mistake, the interception off Baker Mayfield, right? Getting to him very early. That's exactly what it was doing. Bryce Young, sure, just 9 yards shy of 200 yards, but 2 touchdown passes to get this Panthers team on the dot, even with no run game helping them at all whatsoever. 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Everything on this Panthers team, they're clicking leg game when they matter the most. And as of right now, they're on top of the division, just one game ahead of this Bucks team. So one of these teams, unfortunately, are going to get the division, and they're going to host a playoff game.
Yeah, they're gonna get whoever gets second in the NFC West, and I mean,
Yep.
no one's taking the South winner in that game. But I mean, also, I mean, let's be realistic. Looking at the Bucks, I mean, Todd Bowles' job. I mean, whether they win the division or not, I mean, you got to get rid of him. You got to start moving on. You should have moved on long before. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
the only thing. I mean, we can get into coaches and all that, and bean talk or something. But yeah, moving this into a much better game. I mean, that was a good game for what that's worth. But the Jaguars and the Broncos, and I mean, as I loosely mentioned this to you, I was close to taking the Jaguars on this one, but I was riding Bo Nix being really finally showing out, and obviously that Broncos defense. And what a performance by Trevor Lawrence, plain and simple. I mean, 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. The run game, despite not really showing it, I mean, Travis Etienne really, I mean, establishing it for them for that's worth. And I mean, can't say enough about Parker Washington. Didn't see if this is, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's had a game like this. Career high for him with 145 yards and one of those touchdowns. I mean, everything humming on this one. You hold that Broncos offense to 20 points. So, of course, that highly rated defense doing their part. And I mean, believe the Jaguars are scoring well over 30 points in their last like 4 or 5 games. So, I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders. They control their path to maintain the AFC South, and they still have an inside track at the 1 seed. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're only 1 game behind the Broncos who still hold on to that, and you are going to have that tiebreaker on them. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to say about what Liam Cohen has done to this. My coach of the year pick early on in the season, so we'll see how that goes. But I mean, really blown away by the Jaguars, and for the Broncos, I mean, it's just disappointing. You get a home game against an AFC contender that you're probably going to see in the playoffs again, and to see you lay out a donut like this, it just those questions about Bo Nix rise again. And sure, oh, you got a 352 yards, but a lot of that was empty. RJ Harvey, he had his moments, but again, didn't get in there when it mattered most. I mean, there's just still a lot of questions for this Broncos team.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's gonna start to finally catch up to them. Like I'm saying, you cannot be having these late game victories. It's not it's gonna catch up to you, especially when you're going against these top playoff teams. And the Jaguars, instead of holding back, they ran it down their throats and they took advantage of it, right? And obviously, Bo Nix, he couldn't capitalize off that, and that's gonna be a big issue coming to the playoffs. And with this game, the Chargers, they still have a chance to take the division. So that's not even out the question yet. But moving on back to the NFC side with the Falcons getting this pretty good sliced win over this Cardinals team. And since Kirk took over, he's been having himself games. I mean, on this game, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did get an interception, unfortunately, but I mean, he's been getting it going with this Falcons team. And not even that. Bijan Robinson, Raheem Morris, you forget you have Bijan, an arguably top 10 running back in the league. You use him
Arguably,
and
arguably
you
top 10.
you
He's
see what
arguably
happens.
top one.
You see, I don't think he's top one.
I mean,
But
let's be
anyways,
honest.
you're looking at this 92 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. This is what happens when you get your guy involved. I mean, excuse me, not on the ground, on the receiving end. Excuse me, got that wrong. On the receiving end, not on the ground game. 92 yards in the air with 1 touchdown, and the Kyle Pitts finally falling and getting a touchdown as well there too. With Tyler Algier was actually the leading rusher with 79 yards. Bijan had 76, but again, they had equal amount of carries with 16 each, and they surpassed 70 yards on the ground, which again still helps, especially with Kirk Cousins, helping them there too. But pretty much overall with the Falcons, not much to say there too. They're 6-9. They're not gonna get the division out of the. They didn't. Just I'm slurring my words here too. They're with Kirk taking over. Everything's been working great for them. The defense has finally been stepping up just a little bit. Sure, it was against this Cardinals team. Jacoby Brissett. He kept them in the game where it really mattered the most, but again, really just couldn't capitalize. On the receiving end too. Michael Wilson. He's been having himself a good past couple of games. On this game, just 52 yards, did record a touchdown. Elijah Higgins was the one who really stepped up the most. Not a good game for McBride, and we see, even if McBride's not getting it going, no one on this Cardinals team can get it going. But with the Cardinals, that quarterback position, that quarterback side, a lot of questions coming into next season for Kyler Murray now.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of questions that we can get into throughout that offseason. But let's get into, I mean, this again. I mean, if it wasn't for Thursday night, this would have been a game of the week right here. The the Steelers and the Lions. And I mean, let's just talk about the finish. I mean, that's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
First off, I mean, the what was it, a 12-point lead for the Steelers that you end up okay, you end up blowing it. It's a 5-point game. You think the Lions take the lead on the Almond touchdown. Tesla gets that offense pass interference, run it back again. Fourth and goal. Almond just short at the 1 yard line. He gets pushed back. Should have been called for forward progress, but whatever, neither here nor there. Laterals it to Goff and gets in, but hold on. There was offensive pass interference by Amon Ra. Crazy ending to this one. The referee comes out, says it was ruled a touchdown first. Crowd goes crazy, can't even hear the fact that it was off PI to begin with, and the game is over. Wild game. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, we were talking about this on Beanstalk. No, but this was one of the games that was going to let a lot of NFC teams clinch if the Lions lost. We were not expecting this one to go that way, just considering how the Steelers were looking. And they made a statement. I mean, sure, you're not expecting the North winner to make some noise. And I know for what it's worth, the Lions aren't the Lions that we've been used to these past 2 years. But this was a big win for the Steelers and the performances that you get out of this. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, sure, it wasn't craziest, but a very efficient 266 yards, a touchdown when it matters most. And I mean, the touchdown pass that he got. I mean, Kenneth Gain did get a receiving touchdown, right? Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, the running back in the receiving game, channeling his Christian McCaffrey once again. I mean, he's really become a receiving threat in this one. 5 receptions, 78 yards. And of course, the run game, Jalen Warren, back to back huge runs. I mean, he had 143 yards on those two touchdowns. Very crucial. I mean, this running attack, I mean, not really people talking about it from early on the season or throughout the season. But this run game could take the Steelers places. I mean, if they play their cards right, you got great leadership in this team. You never know. And you look down with the Lions, it's bleak. You got like a 6 to 8% chance to make the playoffs. You need the Packers to lose out, and you need to win out. There's some stuff that needs to happen in between. It's crazy thing, the one seed lost 2 games last year, crashed out in divisional round, likely gonna miss the playoffs this year.
Yeah, very sensitive with the Lions. It was a good 2 years while it lasted there too. You would expect a slump at this part, but you're at the Steelers side, the division is pretty much going to be in their favor. But everything's going good, and then Mike Tomlin's streak of not having a losing season
and can't
is
even
going to stay
forget
intact.
the DK shenanigans.
Yeah.
I mean, punching a fan,
Mhm.
suspended for 2 games, likely gonna lose like $45 million in guarantees because of the suspension. I mean, crazy. We'll definitely get into a little more of that in Beanstalk for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, without a doubt, a lot of turmoil there too. But now moving on with the Texans and the Raiders, and I'm very, very surprised that the Raiders kept it a very close game, especially like we've been glazing the Texans and their defense, and then I'm looking at the score. The Raiders are neck to neck with the Texans, and this was very
I mean, they
concerning.
were up for a
Don't
part there.
Yeah, the one thing I said too was if the Texans want to have some success moving forward in the playoffs to make a run, the defense is intact. You see what they can do. It's going to be on CJ Stroud whether or not that offense is going to get going, and we see it, right? You end the game 187 yards, just one touchdown, right? This whole game, CJ did not look good at all whatsoever. The whole receiving end, Nico 59 yards of the day. Obviously, that doesn't help when CJ Stroud's not getting early on the offensive side. Max Crosby in that D line getting into pressure when you need it to be when it mattered the most there too, right? But the defense, they were doing the part. I mean, they got to Geno 3 times. They forced an interception like they always do. They did the part for the most part, but Jency, they couldn't stop him at all. 128 yards on the ground with one touchdown, and then he would have let loose for a 51-yard. rush. So I mean, they did what they could the most, but I mean, everyone that Raiders, they're finally feasting, nothing to lose there too. Genty was doing even on the receiving end, being the leading receiver with 60 yards and a touchdown as well. But I mean, you're keeping it neck to neck, but obviously. Who knows? Maybe they just decided to throw the game late game for that draft position. You never know, especially if they're in contention with the Jets and the Titans for that number one spot. But for the Texans, I guess you have you've been having such a great win streak. Maybe this was the trap game and they finally get their eyes open. You let it loose. They're 10-5. They're still in battle for the AFC South, so everything's still looking great there too. But this is still a little bit concerning. So moving forward from the offensive side, it's going to be CJ Stroud once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, this team can only go as far as CJ Stroud takes them. The
Mhm.
defense is gonna set you up in great positions. Just see what he can do. And at least, like you said, they didn't let the trap game actually get the better of them like a lot of other teams would have. That's a great sign for them going into the playoffs. But capping off Sunday night, I mean, what a game with this. A historic matchup with the Patriots and Ravens. Got a lot of AFC Championship history in there. And it looked like the Ravens were going to pull it off. They needed a victory to, keep their realistic hopes alive for the North. We see, obviously they got a huge game coming up next week, I believe, against the Packers. So, that those two teams that are fighting out their playoff lives.
Mhm.
And you keep a lead, even with Lamar Jackson going down with that injury. You get Tyler Huntley in there, and you're still up. I believe how I was out at work, so I didn't see the exact numbers, but they were up double digits in the fourth quarter. They were up 10 in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then,
They had around there.
yeah, and of course, I mean, Drake May. What a performance from him. We've been saying it. Oh, he can't throw 300 yards. He's he's not really stepping up, despite still being an MVP candidate, mind you. But 380 yards. We talk about him not getting 300. He almost throws 400, two touchdowns. That interception between there is what really kept this close. But going 31 for 44, you could ask for a little bit better efficiency if you want, but everyone around him really helping him out. Stephon Diggs really being that factor in there, 138 yards. Phenomenal catch mixed in there between. Probably could have wanted a little better on the run game, but obviously Trayvon Henderson capped it off when it matters most in the end to get that touchdown to take the lead. And the late interception on Huntley when the Ravens still did have a chance to take the lead at the end. At this point, Ravens playoff hopes are just about done. Unless you win out, and if you win out, you still technically have that chance if the Steelers lose next week. But for the Patriots, you get yourself in a prime position to still probably, you need a little bit of help to get back to that one seed. But this is a win, a gutsy win against a team that sure is still banged up, not as good as we're expecting them to be. Huge win that really gives you that hope that, the Patriots might make some noise in the postseason.
Yeah, they lost back in when it mattered the most there too. They capitalized off their own mistakes and they got it done when it mattered the most. But again, too, once you start playing the top teams in the AFC, this is kind of where Drake May, that's gonna be the real test for them as well. But closing it off the season with the Monday Nighter, the Niners and the Colts, and let's just say the Niners, they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs. Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns, one interception, right? But five passing touchdowns really to kind of seal this deal right away. Not even just Brock Purdy, but well, before I get into not before I get into McCaffrey, Brock Purdy since coming back too, he's had his fair share of bad and good games, but a game like this is exactly what the Niners need from Purdy. He's playing consistently like this. They're gonna make a run in the playoffs, and that's gonna be unfortunate for us. But outside of Purdy, McCaffrey as well. On the rushing side, 117 yards. He's doing everything for this whole team. On the receiving end, 2 touchdowns as well too. So everyone on this team was getting fed. George Kittle and Jawan Jennings, two threats that they really needed to see. George Kittle getting a 100-yard game. Everything was clicking for this Niners team. The defense, sure, allowed 27 points to this Colts team. It was very neck to neck for in the first half, but come second half, it was pretty much all Niners game. They're getting it going. Brock Purdy's consistent. Everyone's getting the fair share. You're looking at the Colts side, very unfortunate. You're 7-1, now you're 8-7. Grandpa Philip Rivers, for what it's worth, it looks like
Dude,
he
he
can still
balled
play.
out.
Yeah,
He
he can
balled
still
out,
play.
plain and simple.
277 yards, 2 touchdowns, and unfortunately an interception there too. On the ground game, Jonathan Taylor, I don't know what's been going on with him, but only 46 yards and a touchdown. But hey, no matter what he is, Grandpa, what it is, Philip Rivers, he balled out this game. He kept it close for the first half of the game against the very good Niners team. But Niners are 11-4, still in the bottom. Not want to say bottom, but they're still in the bottom of the division at 11-4 there too. So I mean, hey,
No,
anything
actually,
can
they're in
happen in this
second
AFC
place.
West.
They
I mean,
took
oh,
over the Rams
thank
at
you.
this place.
The second place in the NFC West. Thank you. So I mean,
They
a
take
lot of
that
things could
5
happen.
seed.
Yeah,
At this point, no, they control their destiny for the 1
yeah.
seed. If they win
They
out
just
and
need to
beat the
win. Yeah,
Seahawks, they're
they
the
just
1
need to
seed.
win. Yeah,
And at this point, they could have 5 more games and they'll all be at home because the Super Bowl is
yeah,
in their home stadium. I mean,
yep.
crazy to think all these injuries that they went through and they're on the
Hmm.
inside track for the 1 seed. They clinched their playoff spot a little earlier because of that Lions loss, and also the Colts loss brings us a slew of clinches with the Bills, Chargers, and Jaguars, of course, also getting
Yeah,
their spots. But I mean, yeah, I mean, crazy to say, we were writing off the Niners so much, and I mean, to this point, I mean, they're like we said, they're on track for that 1 seed.
exactly. So a lot of things are gonna happen in this West for the next 2 weeks. So gonna be a lot of great games of football.
Absolutely, my Rams are going to need a little bit of help within there, but I mean,
Hmm.
let's hope we see what ends up happening going into Week 18. But that wraps this up. Get into those picks, and there was a single disagreement in there. You went with your heart to see if the Cowboys, like you said, could get a moral victory. Did not go your way. You went 9-7. I went 10-6. So I believe there's a 5-game gap in between there with 2 weeks to go. We've been saying, Christian, hammer those underdogs. You're gonna need to hammer them. I mean, there's some of them in
At
there
this
that
point, I
really
might. At
end
this
up
point, I
helping you.
might.
You
At this
might
point, I
you
might.
might have to, but yeah, that wraps this one up for us. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Happy holidays to everyone. And be sure to tune back in Christmas morning for our next episode of Bean Talk.